Harry Maguire, the most expensive defender ever, has been relegated 4 times, once with Sheffield United, twice with Hull City, and once with Wigan. Mark Hughes played for Bayern Munich and Wales on the same day. He had just completed his transfer from Barcelona, and Bayern CEO Uli Hoeneß was desperate to see him play in the pre-season. So after his midday game with Wales in the Czech Republic, he got on a plane across the border and got on during the second half of Bayern's game against Borussia Mönchengladbach. Portsmouth held the FA Cup for the longest time despite only winning it once. The FA Cup was sitting in their trophy cabinet for 7 consecutive years, as they were the last team to win the title before World War II broke out and the competition was postponed. Bobby Zamora and Obafemi Martins are the only 2 footballers to have scored penalties with their right and left foot in the Premier League. Alvin Martin once scored a hat-trick against 3 different goalkeepers in one match. While playing for West Ham, he scored against Martin Thomas, Newcastle's first-choice keeper. After he got injured, he scored against Chris Hedworth, a midfielder who filled in. And then finally, Peter Beardsley, a forward who stepped in as West Ham won the game 8-1. Second Division Romanian defender Marius Chora was once sold for 15 kilograms of pork sausages. The shortest managerial reign of all time was just 10 minutes by Leroy Rossignol. It was made public that he had been appointed manager by Torquay United, but 600 seconds later, it was announced that his services had been disposed of as the club had been taken over. Football fan Adrian Hayward won £25,000 after betting on Xabi Alonso to score from the halfway line for Liverpool during the 2005-06 season. After seeing it in a dream, Hayward went to see the bookmaker and put £200 on the halfway goal bet with odds of 125 to 1. Needless to say, Alonso did score from the halfway line against Luton Town, and Hayward was one happy man. Juventus play in black and white because of Notts County. Juventus originally played in pink, but when it rained, they found that the shirts ran. They asked an English associate of the club to source them new kits, and they received Notts County's black and white strip, which they have played in ever since. When Sweden plays Denmark, the match coverage shows it short to spell Sweden, and the letters left over spelled Denmark. The same phenomenon occurs when Poland play Andorra. Emerson Palmieri is the only player to have won the UEFA Champions League, UEFA Europa League, UEFA Conference League, UEFA Super Cup, and the UEFA European Championship. In the 1980 Copa del Rey final, Real Madrid played against their academy team and won 6-1. Sevilla's 3 consecutive Europa League wins all came with different keepers starting in the final: Sergio Rico, Beto, and David Soria. But all 3 of the keepers were at the club during all 3 of those seasons. Australia were the first to use numbers on jerseys. Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi were born 869 days apart. Their eldest sons, Cristiano Jr. and Thiago, were also born 869 days apart. All of Antoine Griezmann's children were born in different years, but share the same birthday. Antoine Griezmann voiced Superman in the French Lego Batman movie, and Manuel Neuer voiced Frank McKay in the German Monsters University movie. Juan Mata never won the Premier League. Only 4 footballers have won the Champions League back-to-back with different clubs: Gerard Piqué, Paulo Sousa, Marcel Desailly, and most impressively Samuel Eto'o, who won back-to-back trebles with Barcelona and Inter Milan. Luis Suarez, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Robert Lewandowski, and Cristiano Ronaldo are the only players to have scored a goal in every minute of the game from 1 to 90. Scotland have a 100% penalty shootout record. During Project Restart in 2020, Willian became the first player to score a Premier League goal every month of the calendar year. In 2003, Rangers manager Alex McLeish attempted to loan Lionel Messi from Barcelona after his son had scouted him in a game of Championship Manager. Dutch side NAC Breda's full club name is This Unpronounceable Monstrosity, which translates in English to Never Give Up, Always Persevere, Pleasant Through Entertainment, and Useful Through Relaxation. In 1967, Wolves, Stoke, and Sunderland played domestic football in the USA. The newly formed United Soccer Association lifted whole teams from Europe and implanted them to America. The clubs were renamed LA Wolves, Cleveland Stokers, and Vancouver Royals respectively, with the squads and coaches going over to compete for these teams. Wolves ended up winning the one and only season the league played. In 2014, 3 Chelsea goalkeepers were awarded clean sheets in a 0-0 draw with Atletico Madrid. Mark Schwarzer came off the bench to replace Petr Cech in the 18th minute. Schwarzer didn't concede, and neither did the Atletico keeper, Thibaut Courtois, who was on loan from Chelsea. David Beckham and David Moyes used to play together. Moyes was at Preston North End from 1993 to 1999, with Beckham joining him on loan for the 1994-95 season. In 1941, Rapid Vienna won the German Championship. Former Birmingham City director Karen Brady once sold her husband, Paul Pesci-Solido, to Stoke for £400,000. Ferenc Puskás, the greatest Hungarian footballer ever, played for Spain at the 1962 World Cup. Back then, eligibility rules didn't really exist, so he switched nationality, as did his teammate Alfredo Di Stefano, from Argentina to Colombia to Spain. Before Sir Alex Ferguson took over at Manchester United, Aston Villa were the more successful club. In 1986, both sides had 1 European Cup and 7 league titles apiece. However, the Villains had 1 more FA Cup than the Red Devils. Thomas Galasek was involved in both games that used the silver goal rule. Unlike the golden goal where the team who scores first in extra time wins the match instantly, the silver goal dictates the game ends if a team is leading at half time of extra time. The only silver goal in international football was in the Euro 2004 semi-final between Greece and the Czech Republic, and the only silver goal in club football came in a Champions League qualification match between Ajax and Grazer AK. Luka Modric and Mark Viduka are cousins. Viduka's father, Joe, was from Croatia, but emigrated to Australia in the 1960s. Every player who played in Shinji Kagawa's first international game for Japan against Ivory Coast was still playing professional football 10 years later. Former Manchester United prodigy Axel Tuanzebe held the Guinness World Record for the fastest game of Hungry Hungry Hippos, clearing the game in 17.36 seconds. Peter Crouch has more Premier League assists than Paul Scholes, with 58 and 55 respectively. Former Barcelona and Arsenal midfielder Alex Song has 27 siblings, 17 sisters and 10 brothers. Kostel Pantilimon is the first Romanian to win the Premier League. He is also the tallest player to win the Premier League. Former Spurs midfielder Moussa Dembele once went 6 months without being tackled in the Premier League. The man to dispossess him was Didier Ndong. Thanks for watching.